So Christmas time, I think we can all agree, it's supposed to be this magical time, or it feels like everyone else is having a magical time. But some of us just aren't really having that same experience. I mean, mental health at Christmas, it's going to be at an all-time high, and it's because of the pressures of the outside world. And what I really want to talk about is just how to simplify that back down so you can actually enjoy Christmas without feeling like your mental health is going to an all-time peak and spiraling out of control. So what are the reasons for that? The pressure? Is it the excitement? Is there too many lights? Is it too bright? Is it an overload? Is it an explosion in your brain? Is it social media pressing it too hard? Is it just the media pressing it too hard? What does Christmas look like for you? For me, Christmas can be really quite difficult. No family, I don't get to see my kids, my mental health is suffering, my anxiety's going up, I'm feeling the loneliness creeping in, and things just look darker and darker, and they're far from magical, and they're far from exciting. Are you worried about the purse strings? Are you worried about the financial aspects? Are you starting to max out your credit card because you're just wanting to get that special present for somebody? Perhaps there's a different way to look at it. Perhaps we could look at it from a point of view that you could just be there for somebody, be around somebody, support somebody. Maybe we could support each other. Maybe we can just put the credit cards down for a bit. Do we really need them? Do they need those gifts? Those particular things that I might think I need to buy for myself, that I might need to buy for others. Do I really need to do that? And the answer is no. The answer is no, I don't. On Christmas Eve, I tend to look for self-care. I tend to look for ways that I can look after myself and I can care for myself properly. So what does that look like? That looks like taking extra baths, having lions, sleeping a little bit more, putting your favourite film on, getting your favourite food, listening to your favourite music. To be honest, I stay away from Christmas music because all that does is make me feel worse. Because that to me relates back to not having a family, not having anybody around me. And Christmas is supposed to be this get together and this gathering where loved ones come together. But that's not possible for me. So normally Christmas Day for me is just me on my own and I have to figure it out for myself. But actually this year, I've got one friend that's invited me to their house for Christmas. And you know what? That gives me a sign of relief. They're not particularly Christmassy, and that's great. I can turn up and wear anything I like. I don't even have to say anything about Christmas. I don't even have to celebrate anything. I can just turn up and be myself. And that is a sign of relief. Because after the Christmas has ended, I just feel better. I feel like I can move on with my life. I feel like it's all over and everything calms down, and then my anxiety calms down with it. So when it comes to Christmas and social media, I actually start a process where I start to distance myself from social media slowly, bit by bit, and then I don't go on it over Christmas. I'm not interested because I know for sure that some of these photos aren't real. I know that it's fake. I know that what they're doing out there is putting on the best that they can possibly find. And in fact, it's worth reminding yourself that people actually use other people's photos that aren't theirs to make you think that they're having an amazing time when they're not. So actually a Christmas detox from my phone and social media has been one of the most important things, and it really helps me to remain grounded and for me to actually get through Christmas without feeling the sense of unhappiness, sadness, depression, anxiety, and overall pain. So after Christmas is over, I just feel so much better. I feel like there's a weight that's been lifted off my shoulder. And you know what? Sometimes I have to remind myself that I didn't have to max out a credit card. I didn't have to do all those things that other people are doing. I look around me and everyone's stretching themselves, they're struggling in January, and I don't have to do that. I remember Christmas wasn't always like that. I remember when it was hectic, when everybody was laughing, they were joking, there was food, there was drinks, there was music, and it was quite the opposite. But internally, I was really struggling. Somehow that intensity was just creeping my anxiety higher. My depression was increasing as well. So internally, I just felt like I was disconnected. And I really struggled with that as well. So dealing with those times was completely different. What I used to do was I used to take breaks. I used to go outside. I used to ground myself. I used to go for a little walk around the block. I used to breathe in the air. I used to take about half an hour just of my own time, just peace and quiet, just so I could refocus myself. and then I would go back in. It was like I did it in rounds. It was like one day was like 8 rounds. I'd do 4 in the morning and I'd do 4 in the afternoon. And then every now and again, I'd just take a little break. I'd go to the toilet, I'd splash my face with cold water, and I used to take a moment in there. I used to do some breathing exercises in the toilet, and then I would go back again. And this was my coping mechanism for being able to cope with that situation for those Christmases. So at Christmas time, we're all in it together. You're not alone. Everybody struggles in different ways. Perhaps sometimes it's the overstimulation of too much. Sometimes it's the loneliness and the separation of nothing, of being alone. But neither's right nor wrong. It's important that you do what's best for you and don't let other people tell you what you should do at Christmas. So all year round, we've got so many Hallmark holidays, and they became such a problem for me because you're supposed to feel a certain way on that day, or that's what they like you to think. But you don't. You don't have to feel any way on any day. And part of anxiety and part of depression and getting through that is taking a day at a time. We take one day at a time, every single day, and we don't have to make it any more complicated than that. And that is the one thing that I always remember in my mind. It doesn't matter what day it is tomorrow. We don't have to label it. It's just another day. And we're going to get through it just as we did today, just as we did yesterday.